What is up, people? This is the Oracle. We are back online for a little bit more Vintage Cube. This pack is, I guess, fine. Nothing too exciting. I might just first pick Sotsies. I do like Sotsies for, several reasons. First, it's one of the best cheap disruptive card in this cube, and you want to avoid just dying very early because they have a Tinker or something along those lines. So it's just nice all around. And you can also sometimes just target yourself to discard a fatty and reanimate it later. So it's kind of an enabler in Reanimator 2. I think it's just a very good card all around. Again, pretty happy to first pick that. The Ratty is good, but a little bit harder to make work. It's not that easy to get enough artifacts just because the artifacts are just very good pretty much no matter what you're doing, so people just pick it very high and a bit harder to make work. Ulamog is nice, but I'd rather get Sneak Attack or Through the Bridge before I pick Eldrazi or, something like Channel. Pack is not super exciting, but again, I really don't mind first picking Thoughtses, which again, cheap disruption as well as an enabler for a Storm deck, Reanimator deck, not Storm deck. And, just all around pretty powerful card. Mind Twist is nice, of course. The more acceleration you have, the better it is. Pretty happy to just go with that after Sotsies. I do like Chart the Course quite a bit when I end up playing Reanimator. It's just a very nice enabler. Draw 2, discard 1 is just pretty perfect and quite cheap. Each time someone casts Karab God against me, because I never draft it, so it has been cast against me, but I never cast it in Cube. But each time they did it, I was really happy, and it did not work out well for the opponent. I think this card is potentially quite good in Legacy Cube. It feels quite a bit underpowered and way too slow for Vintage Cube, though. Exarch is nice if you want to go Kikijiki, I guess. Sword's nice, cheap. Revolt is pretty efficient, but yeah, we'll pick Mind Twist since we first pick Sotsies. But yeah, when you have cards like Swords to Plowshare, Pass to Exile, and various cheap exiling effects, cards like the Scarab God, they get a lot weaker. Alright, Corpse Dance is one of my least favorite reanimation spell. It's just not, I don't know, it's just not super, how do you say that? It's just not very efficient. It's more of a, in my opinion, it's more of a sneak attack through the breach type of card, and not really straight up reanimation card. I mean, we might not be Reanimator, but when I'm playing black in Vintage Cube, I pretty much want to be Reanimator. I don't see any good reason to play black other than that. So yeah. This is why I'm talking about Corpse Dance. Now, I think I might just pick Control Magic. It's just pretty good all around. A little bit weaker than it is in Legacy Cube, but still nice. And you can only blue-black Reanimator. So there is that. Now, again, Reanimator might end up just not being open. There's always the back plan of just playing blue-black control. The problem with that is, I don't know, blue-black control has some weakness in this cube. You have a hard time dealing with artifacts, enchantment, and all around I really don't mind playing blue-white control, but blue-black control is really not my favorite thing to do. So might rather be Reanimator. Could pick Sheldred, it's a fine reanimation target. Or Gifts Ungiven, which is 4 mana. You can just use it, just grab 2 fatty, and you can use it as a 4 mana Entomb, which is not great, but fine. And if you happen to get the Unburial Rites, then you have the combo, and you can just grab that and just reanimate things right away. I think I'm just gonna go with Gift. Pack was not so exciting. Makeshift Mannequin is nice. It's one of the more costly reanimation spell, but the fact that it's instant speed is just huge. Sometimes you just get in a situation where they have a counter spell or something, some type of disruption, and you're very happy to just go end of turn Makeshift, and if they counter, then you can, just do another reanimation spell, use another reanimation spell during your turn. Being instant speed also means you can sometimes reanimate Eldrazi, the one that shuffled back into your library. You know, you respond to the trigger, just makeshift Mana Queen 1. This can happen. It's just pretty nice. Despite costing 4, I always kind of like it, so really don't mind picking that. Probe's fine, not super exciting. Again, Doomblades are not great. They are fine, but like, don't think you should pick this super high in this cube. Imp is an enabler, but probably my least favorite enabler. It's just the card is so bad. I'd rather not play it. It might wheel. If it doesn't wheel, it's gonna be a little bit scary, but even if it wheels, I might not play it. Just really don't like that. Spell Pierce I do like quite a bit. Fatal Push is decent, but I think we just pick Shores. Fixing is important, and Shores is a nice piece of fixing. So we'll grab that. There's still this weird bug online where you can't see the picture of Planeswalker, some of the Planeswalker. I mean, if I just pick the Razorek here, you're going to be able to see the picture here on my the cards I picked, but when you are trying to pick, there's weird thing and a couple picture missing. I haven't played a lot with Hostage Taker. I think it's fine though. I think, for example, this card is better than Scarab God in Cube. Definitely fits better than Scarab God. This card was cast against me a couple times and it was always like pretty good. Whereas, again, as I said earlier, Scarab God has been very unimpressive. Grave Robber is, you know, sideboard 8, but pretty much against us, I guess. Bitter Blossom is fine. I don't know, I feel like this card is still a little bit overrated. Each time I cast it, it kind of underperforms. Not a huge fan. I think it's still better than Hostage Taker, though. Alright, Portal is nice, but I think I might just pick Gearhulk. I do like Gearhulk quite a bit. And since we haven't seen any great transition spell yet, we might just want to go into a more control-y direction. I don't mind, I mean, I think being fully control and killing with big creatures in blue-black in this cube is difficult. However, we could be half control, half reanimator, with a game plan where we sometimes just cheat something big onto the battlefield early, but we can also win into the later game. Because sometimes you can play just a reanimation deck that's just super fast and very inconsistent, and if you do get the cards you need and they don't have disruption, you win, but if they have just a little bit, you will lose. And you can play kind of, again, what we might be doing here in between, where you have maybe a decent reanimation plan, and otherwise you can also play a more control game and maybe just win a fair game of Magic. I'm gonna pick Tasigur here, seems fine. Chart of Course Wheeled, which is good news. I think it's, again, much more appealing than Scarab God, which I haven't seen being good. Necrotol's fine. Not a huge fan. I'd rather have how it's called? Shriekmaw? No, it's not Shriekmaw. There's Skinrender. Yeah, there's Shriekmaw. Yeah, Shriekmaw is the 5 mana one. You can evoke for 2. Or Bone Shredder. These two are a little bit better because they are cheaper. Necrotol and Skinrender are not as good, but playable, I guess. No one's playing Mono Red, it seems. Guide is among the best cards here. Just gonna pick Deck in Stone. Might play Go for the Throat, but... Ooh, Fatal Push and Imp Wield. Okay, I don't think I'm gonna play the Imp. Just this card is just very bad. It's nice that it wheeled though. If the Imp hadn't wheel, would be a little bit scary about some other people maybe trying to go Reanimator. Ooh, Living Death, sweet. Love Living Death. Now, Force of Will is probably my favorite card in the cube. One of the cards I like having in my deck the most. You need, you know, enough blue cards, but it's so much insurance against all the nonsense that can happen. And if you happen to be Reanimator, it's also nice to be able to reanimate something and have some backup, and they don't just go Swords to Plowshare and, I don't know, all your work gets undone. Tamiyo's fine. I guess in general, Planeswalker are fine in Vintage Cube. Yeah, Vintage Cube, but they are much better in Legacy Cube. They are fine, like, and some of them are pretty good. I do like Chandra, Garruk, but 5+ mana Planeswalker in Vintage Cube tends to be a little bit too slow sometimes. Ancient Tune's great. Living Death is nice. So really hesitating between Living Death and Force of Will. I think this might wheel. If it doesn't wheel, it's kind of a disaster though, so maybe we just pick it. Plays very well with gifts. You just gift for 4, put 2 things, then Living Death. Pretty appealing. I love Force of Will, but I'm gonna pick Living Death. I think it's also a little bit more funny to play with, maybe. And happens to be a Wrath of God too, which is nice to have around. Jace, Architect of Thought is fine. Not super exciting. Might just pick Scalding Tarn, and hopefully we get, you know, Underground Sea or Watery Grave that we could fetch. Dismember and Night Oak I think are not very good. Not really things you want to pick high. Yeah, Jace is medium. These Jace. In a purely control deck, it's fine. We might just end up being a purely control deck, I guess. Yeah, maybe it's still better than a fetch. Not even knowing we'll get to actually fetch something good with it. Miracle, you can reanimate, I guess. Protection from instant is really nice. This amount of good removal are instant, so this could be a thing. The other option is just Fact of Fiction, which is very good all around, very good with Gearhulk, and you know, you happen to be, you can just put anything you get from the FOF into your graveyard. You can choose the pile without the thing you want to put into your graveyard, and everything else goes into the graveyard. And if your opponent doesn't know you're a Reanimator, they might not play super well with the FOF. It's just very good all around. I think it's slightly better than Emrakul in that optic. And if we end up playing straight up control without enough reanimation spell, it's just a better controlled card than a Miracle, most likely. So probably gonna go with FOF, yeah. Alright, True Name Nemesis, pretty good. Now we have to make a choice. Either we pick True Name Nemesis and we end up playing just probably blue-black control, maybe not even playing the reanimation spells. Or we pick Iona and really try to force reanimation, but I think it's just safer to pick True Name Nemesis. We're already kind of half into the draft, 1 pack and a half almost, and the only thing we've seen is Makeshift Mannequin. Doesn't mean it's not open, maybe the cards just haven't been open, but yeah, I think it's slightly safer to go with Nemesis, and Iona might just wheel actually. Ooh, I haven't played with Liliana Death Majesty yet. Seems like kind of a sweet one in an hybrid control Reanimator deck like we might have. So definitely willing to try that, and the pack is not so good for us overall. I mean, Caracas is great, Skullclamp's nice, Welder can be good, Fountain nice if you're in these colors, but for us Liliana is kind of the one option. There's a Necromancy, as well as Toxic Deluge. I think we pick Necromancy. The Reanimation Dream might still be alive. And again, I'm not a huge fan of just playing blue-black control. I'd much rather have a little bit of unfairness going on in my deck, if possible. Alright, nothing great for us. Brain Freeze for the Storm player. Frail is great, being able to destroy Artifact and Enchantment is just amazing in this cube. I think she's much better than the 5-mana Nissa, for example, in Vintage Cube. There's a small chance we end up playing some green, not sure why for, but we could. I don't think anything else is interesting really, so can grab that. I guess Tomb now. Gideon, Ally of Zendikar, has impressed me a lot. It's one of these Planeswalker that is cheap and applies so much pressure that it's just great. Even though, again, sometimes Planeswalker feels, you know, they feel a little bit too slow for Vintage Cube. Not gonna play Braids. I don't think we'll play Mutavault. Our mana base is not great. Memory Jar can be an enabler. You just, you know, you end up discarding your hand. It's not great though. And Angel of Serenity is a pretty bad thing to reanimate. I don't think we'll play anything really from this booster. I guess if the mana base ends up being great, maybe Mutavault. Right now we're not playing Mutavault though. Naito gonna be sideboard option against aggressive deck, I guess. Maybe we'll play some Ride, probably not. Ritual, not gonna play that. Right now our curve is a little bit too high. We don't really have fast way to win. Right now I think the deck is really bad, not gonna lie. Couple cards goes well together, couple cards are pretty powerful, but overall slightly the curve is slightly too high, and yeah, we lack a little bit of power early on. And the mana base is not great, with just one Darkslick Shorters. It's like not awful, but I'm not really happy until I get like 2 or 3, you know, dual lands in my colors. Snapcaster is probably just fine here. I think we have enough things to make it good. Works pretty well with Sotzis, Fatal Push, not bad with Charter Course, go for Throat. If you have enough mana you can FOF or even Makeshift Mannequin. Sure. I think slightly better than Hero's Downfall, which is, I think, a much more valuable card in Legacy Cube, because again, Planeswalker are quite a bit better in Legacy Cube and quite a bit more threatening. Looter is not bad. I think it's way more likely gonna wield than Snapcaster though, and Snapcaster just, you know, is just very good. Can't really go wrong with that one. Ooh, Mox Ruby. Do we even want that? I don't feel like Mox Ruby is that amazing here. Could see Imp Tutorak or Manalik being just better. I mean, on-color Mox are better, off-color Mox still very good. A little bit, yeah, it might still be the Mox, especially since right now our curve is a little bit too high. This could help. And it works well with Mind Twist, so yeah. I do like Imp Tutorak and Manalik, but gonna go with Mox. Can't really go wrong with Moxes. Alright. Right now we don't really have any Fatty to reanimate too, which is one of the problem, I guess. Could pick Thirst, which is fine in general, happens to be an enabler for reanimation. Seal is also a way to assemble whatever you need to assemble. I think Thirst is slightly better. Again, the deck is shaping up a little more like a control deck, and we might want a card that helps us no matter what and can give us card advantage over a card that gives you kind of cards disadvantage. Yeah, I think it's just better. Thirst is going to be better. Or I guess we could pick Woodfall Primus, because right now we have nothing great to reanimate, and this is one of my favorite reanimation target. I think it's just very nice all around. Yeah, let's do that actually. I think we have enough to probably just play at least a little bit of reanimation as an alternative game plan, I guess, or, you know, again, we're gonna be half control, half reanimator, kind of both, and I think this should be pretty good. Entomb is great. Kind of wish we had gotten that earlier, but pretty happy I picked the Woodfall Primus now, for sure. Exhume is amazing. Alright, seems like Reanimator was indeed open, but some of the most important spell, you know, were not open early in the packs, I guess. Fortunately, Kozilek not gonna really happen unless we have Makeshift Mannequin. Could still be an option. I think it's not so valuable. Not a huge fan of playing Trick-and Mage with just one target. If we had more than one, I could see doing it. As it is, not so sure. Cut is not ideal if you're trying to reanimate. I'm not sure about Godfather's Gift. I think it's not very good though. At least not in a deck like that. I wish we could have picked a, you know, a reanimate table. Probably doesn't mean anything, but hopefully you got what I mean. Something we can reanimate in this booster. Kozilek's not ideal again. Might still pick it because we have Makeshift. I don't know. Kinda sucks that we got that one. I do like Phantasmal Image a lot. Just gonna play that. Packrat is Enabler, but I don't really like the card. I don't think it's great. Image is nice. Sometimes you just reanimate something early and then you copy it. It's also a nice thing to go and get into graveyard with gifts if you want to go double Primus. Pretty sure you can do that. They go onto the battlefield. They go onto the battlefield at the same time, so it should work. There's a Bone Shredder. I might very well play that. Yeah, probably. Just fine card all around. Nothing for us here. I don't think we'll splash for Abrupt Decay. Doesn't seem necessary nor very good. We are a little bit light on reaction targets. Gearhulk's not the worst, and it's kind of nice we picked up that image so we can get a second Primus potentially. Again, kind of not my favorite deck, but I think it, you know, it can win games. Sometimes you can just go Entomb, Exhume, and win. It has some power. It can also, you know, win in the later game. Ooh, Seal Wield. Seal is actually very nice now. Last time we saw the cards, the deck did not have Entomb and Exhume. Since we got these two, Seal got a lot more, a lot stronger actually. Not gonna play any of these. No. Lost Bloom's fine, but not here, not really. And this is Max Ruby is basically a land, so this is 24 spells. We need to cut one thing, I guess, because this is still a 17 land deck. I guess 16 with the Mox. Could just cut Fatal Push. I think there's a lot of deck against which Fatal Push is not very good and can just bring it in when it's good. At least Go for the Throat can kill a bigger creature. Bitter Blossom's fine. Can also be an alternative win condition. Yeah, I think the deck is quite medium overall. Did not go so well. Could have been a little bit better if we got reaction. I mean, good reaction cards earlier. Then we could have focused on picking more fatties. Yeah, I mean, ideally you want to first pick Entomb. It's just one of the better engine. It's just the better engine to really want to be, if you really want to be doing that. More fixing would have been good too. Deck is average, but you know, still looks decent to me. Yeah, mana base is just gonna be even. A little bit more black, I guess. Certainly not gonna play any green. And this is gonna be 9/8. Yeah, that's fine. Would be better with one more duel, but we'll just have to do with that. Alright, sweet. I'm gonna take a quick screenshot before we play. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the draft and see you for round 1.